Some things that seem totally normal in the West can feel out of place in China. Small habits, little gestures, things you wouldn't even think about, might be breaking an unspoken rule. In this new series, we'll explore the everyday moments where cultures quietly clash. Whether you're visiting China, moving for work or study, or simply building relationships with Chinese people, understanding these subtleties makes all the difference. Unspoken Rules is brought to you by China Stream, your gateway to China. Today, we'll talk about 10 things that are normal in the West, but not in China. Let's get started. Number 1. Writing someone's name in red ink. Imagine this. You're jotting down notes. You grab a red pen. You write your friend's name. Simple, right? Well, not in China. Now, here's the weird part. Red is actually a lucky color in China. It symbolizes happiness, prosperity, success. You see it everywhere. Weddings, festivals, decorations. Red means celebration, good fortune. But when it comes to names, it's bad luck. In ancient times, red ink was used to write the names of criminals set for execution. If your name was in red, your fate was sealed. Game over. Even today, red is used for official stamps, corrections, and warnings. Never for personal names. Some say it's because red ink was also used for ancestral tablets, marking those who had passed away. So, is using red ink always bad? Nope. You can write notes, a shopping list, or even doodle in red, no problem. Just don't write someone's name. That one tiny detail changes everything. Want to play it safe? Stick to black or blue. Your friendships will thank you.
Okay.
Number 2. Tipping in restaurants. In many Western countries, especially the United States, leaving a tip in restaurants is customary and often expected. In China, good service is already included. Waiters receive a salary and don't rely on tips to make a living. Leaving extra money can be confusing, awkward, or even insulting. Some waiters might think you've made a mistake and try to return it. In many cases, tipping can come off as inappropriate or even rude. It's like saying, "You need this." Or worse, "I'm above you." It disrupts the social balance. Chinese society values equality and harmony. Introducing a tip can create an unintended hierarchy, implying the server is in a subservient position. This goes against the cultural emphasis on mutual respect and balance. For everyday dining in China, it's best to pay the bill as is. No tip needed. No awkwardness, no problem. Number 3. Public displays of affection. In many Western countries, couples openly hold hands, hug, or kiss in public. In China, such displays are uncommon. Affection is considered a private matter, meant for the personal sphere. Publicly showcasing intimacy can feel out of place and even inconsiderate of those around you.
Oh no.
This stems from a cultural emphasis on modesty and mutual respect. Relationships are nurtured through meaningful actions rather than public performance. Love is often expressed in quieter ways, through care, responsibility, and shared experiences rather than overt physical gestures. When it comes to friendships, especially among the same sex, it's common to see close friends walking arm in arm or holding hands. These gestures are expressions of friendship and carry no romantic implication. Among opposite-sex friends, such physical closeness is less common, adhering to traditional norms that reserve certain forms of touch for romantic relationships. Within families, public displays of affection are generally more reserved. The parent-child relationship is often based on a strong sense of respect, and overt physical affection in public is less common. Siblings, too, tend to express closeness through shared responsibilities and support rather than through physical touch. Number 4. Blunt directness in communication. In many Western cultures, saying exactly what you mean is considered honest and efficient. If something is bad, you say it's bad. If you disagree, you make it clear. No sugarcoating, no guessing games. In China, communication works differently. Rather than being direct, people may soften their words to avoid confrontation and maintain relationships. Instead of saying no outright, you might hear maybe later, or it's a bit difficult. Instead of blunt criticism, feedback is usually phrased more gently, sometimes so subtly that a foreigner might not even realize it's criticism at all. This approach is rooted in the concept of saving face.
面子
Choosing words carefully helps maintain respect and prevent embarrassment for either party. The focus is on preserving relationships and ensuring social harmony. Direct refusals or criticisms are often avoided to allow the other person to exit a situation gracefully. Visitors should learn to read between the lines. If someone hesitates or gives a vague response, this can be a polite way of saying no. This reflects consideration and an effort to maintain harmony. Likewise, using a softer approach when declining something is considered more respectful and polite. In China, speaking mindfully is both an art and a sign of wisdom. Number 5. Splitting the bill, also known as going Dutch. In many Western countries, it's common for friends or colleagues to split the bill when dining out. Each person pays their share, and that's considered fair and practical. In China, this approach is unusual. When a group eats together, one person, often the one who invited others, pays for the whole meal. This is a cultural expectation. Treating someone to a meal is a sign of goodwill, hospitality, and respect. Insisting on splitting the bill can feel awkward or impolite. It may come across as transactional, as if reducing a social gathering to a mere financial arrangement. It disrupts the unspoken understanding that hosting and treating others strengthens relationships. Of course, this doesn't mean the same person always pays. The expectation is that generosity will be reciprocated. If someone treats you to dinner today, you might treat them next time. It's an ongoing cycle of mutual care rather than strict financial fairness. Always make an offer to pay, even if you suspect your host will insist. In group settings, especially among close friends or colleagues, it's common for individuals to take turns covering the bill on different occasions. However, be mindful, sometimes, taking the bill yourself can offend the person who expected to pay, as it may imply you don't believe they can afford it. A better approach is to graciously accept their generosity, offering to cover the next meal. And if you are the one footing the bill, say they can get the next meal, helping them save face. In situations where you might not see the person again, it's still customary for one individual to cover the bill. If you're the guest, graciously accepting their generosity, then sending a thank you note or a small gift as a token of appreciation can be a thoughtful gesture. The Chinese don't build friendships on exact calculations. Trust and gestures of kindness are important. Number 6. Pointing with one finger. In many Western countries, pointing with your index finger is a natural gesture. You use it to give directions, call attention to something, or even emphasize a point in conversation. In China, however, pointing with one finger can come across as rude or aggressive. It can feel like a command rather than a neutral gesture, especially when directed at a person. Instead, the polite way to point is by using an open hand or slightly curling your fingers. This applies not only in everyday interactions but also in professional and formal settings. Whether giving directions, gesturing toward a menu, or acknowledging someone, a softer approach is seen as more respectful. For visitors, this is an easy habit to adjust. Simply using your whole hand instead of a single finger makes interactions feel more courteous and culturally appropriate. A small change, but one that speaks volumes. Number 7. Opening gifts immediately. In many Western countries, when someone receives a gift, they usually open it right away. It's seen as a way to show excitement and appreciation. In China, this is uncommon. Opening a gift in front of the giver can be considered impolite. The polite approach is to accept the gift with gratitude but set it aside to open later, in private. There are a few reasons for this. First, if the recipient's reaction isn't enthusiastic enough, it might cause awkwardness or discomfort. Second, if the gift turns out to be very expensive, opening it in front of others might make them feel uncomfortable or create a sense of comparison. For visitors, the best approach is to accept the gift with both hands, thank the giver warmly, and wait to open it later. If you feel the need to acknowledge the contents, a message of thanks afterward is a thoughtful gesture. Number 8. Wearing shoes indoors. In China, wearing outdoor shoes indoors is considered unhygienic and disrespectful. Shoes carry dirt, dust, and germs from the streets, and bringing them inside is careless. As a common practice, guests are expected to remove their shoes at the entrance. Many households provide indoor slippers for visitors to wear instead. The best approach is to follow the host's lead. If you see shoes lined up at the entrance, take yours off too. If slippers are offered, wear them. Number 9. Touching someone's head. In many Western countries, patting someone on the head, especially a child, is often seen as a friendly or affectionate gesture. In China, this is not the case. The head is a sacred or highly personal part of the body, and touching it without permission is intrusive or disrespectful. This belief has roots in traditional Chinese culture and is also influenced by Buddhist thought, where the head is seen as the most spiritually significant part of the body. A close family member might touch a child's head affectionately, but it's generally not done casually, especially between adults or with strangers. Number 10. Blowing your nose in public. In China, blowing your nose in public is considered impolite, especially at the dining table. The sound and act of nose blowing are seen as unhygienic and inappropriate in public settings. Instead, people tend to sniffle or discreetly step away to a restroom or a less crowded area to take care of it. Be mindful of your surroundings. If you need to blow your nose, excuse yourself and do it in private. This small adjustment shows awareness and respect for local etiquette. If you learned something new today and found this video interesting, check out our other content, like this one here. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more free fascinating insights. This is China Stream, your gateway to China.